Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here again. My name is Alicia Johnson, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, this channel is dedicated to helping everyone. I can see, look, the chat is bigger tonight. I see y'all. I see y'all. Hey, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. So I am so excited that you are here tonight and that we are going to continue on with our forgiveness work. So this channel is dedicated to helping everyone who crosses my path to learn how to recalibrate their lives 12 hours for God and 12 hours for man. And one of the tools that we use in this community is the journal. We use our journal, and the journal is the vehicle that moves you through the process. So we are journaling through forgiveness during this 30-day process, and we are now at day 13. So if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are catching the replays, then feel free to subscribe so that you get all of the notifications so that you can keep track of what we're doing here. And we are at day 13, so we have 17 more days to go. And we meet here every night, Monday through Friday, until we reach day 30. And then we will decide what we'll be doing then, because I am not a planner. So I have absolutely no idea what is going to come next. But I promise you it will be fun. So we will work through that and decide as God will decide for us as we move along. So we are now at day 13, and today we will be forgiving ourselves or forgiving yourself for accepting less than the best from others. Assignment: reread your dedication so that you will remain pinpoint accurate in your journaling focus. Today's assignment is all about compromise. Begin to identify where you have allowed yourself to settle for less from others. Why? Understanding that you have set the tone for how others treat you will give you the permission needed to remove yourself from toxic or potentially toxic relationships. Benefit: knowing what heaven requires of you and for you will enable you to identify what situations need to be removed. Accepting less than what heaven has to offer you in any area of your life is setting you up to live a life of mediocrity. Day 13: forgiving yourself for accepting less than the best from others. This, just like all of the other days, this is a very personal process. So only you know personally where you have compromised, where you have allowed yourself to accept less than the best that you expect. Okay. It doesn't have to do with anyone else's expectations. This is all about your kingdom requirements. And one of the things that we discuss in this community, one of the things that we really rely on in this community is understanding what your kingdom requires. My kingdom does not look like Tiffany's kingdom. Tiffany's kingdom does not look like Teresa's kingdom. Teresa's kingdom does not look like Pam's kingdom, and on and on. It is your responsibility to identify what it is that you require in your life and don't dip below that. And by not dipping below that, it doesn't mean that you go through life in a very arrogant way. It doesn't mean that you are standoffish. It just means that for yourself, you don't go beneath or beyond or below the bar, if you will, that heaven has set for you. So one of the things that I mean by that is, so for example, let's take okay, let's say my husband and I, let's take hotels for example, okay? Like we will not stay at hotels less than a certain star rating. Okay, we used to back in the day, but once heaven began to move us to another level, we like, no, we ain't doing that no more. Our standards have changed. Now, if we are with a group of people and certain people decide to do things and stay at a certain hotel, now we're not going to stop you. We are not going to stop you. We don't have anything to say about that because that's your thing. Do your thing. But as for me and Mr. Johnson, we will drive the extra distance to get what we need. What we need, because this is what our kingdom requires. And the reason that we have these standards, and this is a very superficial example, but it is what it is. The reason that we have these standards is because a good quality night of sleep is worth its weight in gold. Being able to have some peace of mind that your surroundings are safe and as clean as they can be and as comfortable as they can be, that is what my kingdom requires. Okay? And so for me to be in a group setting and someone has set the standard at, say, a certain level of hotel, and that is not what I require, I am no longer subjecting myself to compromise my level of comfort so you can feel comfortable. I will let you know off the break, I'm not going to eat there. I'm not going to sleep there. No, you can, but we won't be there. We won't be there with you. Now we'll meet you at the location where we need to meet after we wake up and everything, but we're not going to be sleeping under that same roof with you. So, I'm no longer compromising in that respect. If it is, for example, like I no longer do like I used to do this a lot and I used to compromise a lot because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be a part of the group. I wanted to be a part of the whatever. And I literally, I do not like shopping trips. I do not like like those shopping trips to like outlet malls. You know that back in the day, I don't even know if they do those anymore, but they would have like the bus. I'm dating myself, but they would have like the bus trips to the outlet malls, and you would leave at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then you would get there like at 7 or 8, and then you would go from store to store, and you'd be trying to find the best deal on this and the best deal on that. I don't I can't do that. I can't I can't do that anymore. I cannot compromise because at this point in my life, that's one of the places, Lancaster. That's one of the places, and it's a bunch of them. They just take the bus trips and they just go there. And I used to do that just to fit in with the girls, to fit in with the group, to feel and this is the thing, because there were certain things like when you're trying to figure out like who you are, if you do not have a very clear understanding, or I won't say a clear understanding, but if your view of yourself is very different than the people that you're hanging around. I can't speak for everyone, but I personally had a resistance to letting people know exactly how I felt just so I could fit in, because there were so many other people that all thought the same way that I felt weird for not thinking that way. So I was like, maybe something's wrong with me. So everyone that I was hanging around at that time, oh my gosh, they love the bus shopping trip. When is the next one? Like they would get off the bus at the end of the night. Girl, this was so much fun. Just let me know. Put me on the list first. Let me know. I'm gonna be ready. Let me go ahead and do my deposit now. Cause I'm gonna be, and I'm sitting there like, miss me on that one. Like, don't call me, don't email, don't even forget my name. Okay. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this no more. It was painful. Painful. How many times are you compromising and doing things simply because everyone else is doing it? And to bring this home a little bit more and to make this a little more relevant as to the season that I'm in now, The same thing happened as it relates to building this aspect of the business. A lot of times, as it relates to this work, as it relates to building a business, I've heard so many things that totally opposed what God was telling me to do. But by this time, I had learned to speak up. But when you start to compromise and you start to accept less because other people are accepting less for themselves, a lot of people that are doing things that are following the crowd are not doing them because they want to. They're doing them because they feel they have to. And so I am the little voice in the dark that is refusing. I refuse to accept less than the best of what God has given you to do. So if God has told you to do a certain thing a certain way at a certain time, then it is required that you do that thing at that certain time in a certain way when God tells you to do it. Making any modifications or any adjustments to that thing means that you are settling for less. And I no longer can stand around and watch people do that because I can no longer accept that from myself. And because of that, a lot of times people don't want to hear what I have to say because I say everything I need to say in love, but a lot of times people are not ready to hear what it is that heaven is pushing them to do because it is going to stretch you. It is going to make you reevaluate what you thought was real. It is going to make you question everything about your existence. Accepting less than the best from others means that you are accepting less than the best from yourself because you can only rise as high as you allow someone else to go. So if you are allowing other people to live less than, then you will accept the same thing from yourself. So if you think about just this week alone, where have you accepted less than the best from others and where have you accepted less than the best from yourself? And this is a very telling exercise when you begin to allow heaven to have a complete work in you. Now, when heaven begins to identify these things, don't feel bad. Rejoice. Rejoice in knowing that heaven is showing you these things because heaven is showing you that more is available to you. So just forgive yourself for accepting less than the best from others and accepting less than the best from yourself. And you will not, I promise you, you will not go from 0 to 60 overnight, but you will grow. In the beginning of this work, I used to accept less than what God wanted me to accept, but that was mainly because that was part of the growing process. So once you begin to truly establish your worth in accordance to what heaven has told you, then you will never, in good conscience, accept less than that again. I used to, at one point in this work, do like name your own price. Trust and believe with God as my witness, and y'all are here too. Trust and believe that will never happen again on this side of glory. Because heaven has advanced me beyond that. I no longer have to settle for that. And I no longer have to settle for people determining like the little that they can do and accepting that. Like when people would name their own price, I'm like, now you know you can do better than that. Now you can really do better than that. But because God was growing me up in these things, I didn't have the voice for that. I didn't have the stamina or the backbone for that. But time has grown me up. So I no longer have to do that anymore. But that was part of the process. So where you have settled for less than the best, you don't have to beat yourself up. You can be excited because that is the gauge that heaven is using you to say that you do not have to go any lower than this. So I challenge you tonight. Where have you settled for less than the best on your job? Where have you settled for less than the best in your family? Where have you settled for less than the best with everything? And a lot of times we have to understand like people have different standards. I like telling, sharing stories and helping people to see things through stories. So back in the day, like in my 20s, late teens, early 20s, I used to waitress. And so I waitress with people that just wanted like the money, like literally, we were just waitressing for the money, like what, whatever. And it was a club that I worked at. There were three clubs in one. Some of y'all know this story, so it was like three clubs. We're not gonna go through all of the different clubs, but there were three clubs in one. So one of the particular clubs was a comedy club, and the comedy club was it's just standard American bar food. Okay, standard American bar food, mozzarella sticks, buffalo wings. What are the other things like spinach artichoke dip, that kind of stuff. Okay. So I'll never forget. Oh my God, bless her heart. I can't remember her name, but I can see her just as clear as day. She came in and she applied for the job and she got the job. Everybody got the job. So it wasn't like a big deal. Whoever wanted to wait tables, if you could do it or learn how to do it, the owner was gonna hire you because it was such a high rotation business. So he was like, "Hey, come on, come on." So she came on in there, and I'll never forget. I can see us all standing around the bar in the back. So we were all oh God, we were reviewing the menu as if it needed to be reviewed. Okay. So we were reviewing the menu for the new girl. And so she wanted to memorize the menu. And what I had to understand, I was like, girl, where are you coming from? She was coming from like, I won't say they were Michelin rated restaurants, but she was coming from like nice restaurants, like maybe, like tablecloth, like white tablecloth, like, you know, good sir. Like you had to learn the wine and all of that. I'll never forget. So we're all there. And so she was like, "So how do," she said, "How do you pair your wines?" I said, "What? White or red? That's all you that's all you got. White or red. It's no pairing, sweetheart. These are mozzarella sticks, buffalo wings. Did you see the menu? Did you people that are coming here do not have very well developed palates, okay? They are not coming here for a fine dining experience. Oh my gosh. And this is back in the day when people could smoke in the, in the building. So some of the waitresses used to be they're like, oh my God. That she was just making everybody tense. That girl lasted one day. One day. I don't even think she got through a whole shift. But to work with us would have been her settling for less than the best for herself. And we were all content because the money was good. But she was like, "We could do so much better if we learned more about the wine." We were like, "We don't care about that. We just want the money." That's all, that's all we want. And so there are choices to be made when you have standards for yourself. She was not interested in that position. Never saw her again. And it's funny that I remember that story because even though she was only in my life for like a split second, she had to cross my path for that reason because I learned a very valuable lesson from her, even though I didn't really appreciate the lesson until later in life. Don't settle for less than anything that means something to you. She wanted the knowledge. She wanted a certain atmosphere. Although I'm sure it wasn't like she was expressing herself like, this is what my kingdom requires from a godly perspective. But the girl knew what she wanted. And that wasn't it. Do you really know what you want? And when you really know what you want, you don't worry. You don't have to worry about changing the atmosphere. You don't have to worry about doing the work. You just have to worry about, not even worry about, you just have to stay in alignment with the assignment. And what I mean by that is that this is a perfect example. I lost my job in 2017. And when I lost my job in 2017, I mean, I was like doing okay. I was like, we can make this work. I mean, I was still doing always journal. I was like, yeah, we'll just work on building this up. This will be fun. So everything was all well and good until like in June or July, my husband came home and said he had lost his job too. I was like, oh, well, what you gonna do? He said, what, what you mean? What am I gonna do? We're gonna both be home together. Now, this is funny because for any of you who've been following the work that I do and this work in the community, a day in my new life, one of the days in my new life, I had written that Mike and I, we were home together, having breakfast together, having lunch together, hanging out together. Lord, when that came to pass, I was like, oh, I gotta modify this. We gotta modify this. We gotta modify this day in the new life. This ain't exactly it. But see, God will start showing you glimpses. One of the things that I knew that heaven was showing me is that I need to like be in my home environment in order to grow and to do what I need to do. But I also like my income, my day gig income. So, long story short, I ended up going back into the workplace. Y'all, some of y'all know that story. So, I lost that bet. So I had to go back to work. So, um, but the one thing that I was like, well, God, if I have to work, can we just make it like conducive to the lifestyle that I'm trying to, maintain? Like, I want to do my always journal work. I want to be more committed to that. God said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, Alicia Johnson is the type of person that when I put out my resume, I normally get hits. Like, like, if I get an interview, I'm getting a job, or so I thought. So this last round, it took forever. I put my resume out there, but see that gap between my last job and the interview time, they don't look favorably on that. Like, what have you been doing for the last year and a half or 2 years? Like, oh, okay. So with that being said, I literally got one interview. And that interview did not lead to the job. It led to a temp position with the same company that didn't give me the job, which is another story. But I was literally on that job for about how many years? Almost a year when they offered me the full-time position. And then I think I got the position in like July or August of that year. So I was in that position long enough in the office to learn everything that I needed to learn so that when COVID hit, that I was able to function, independently at home because I was able to learn everything. But the most important part of it is that the position that we have, like everybody else in the firm is having to go back like 2 or 3 days out of the week. Our art department, they just like just keep working. You don't really have to come in at all. So the reason I share that story is that when you follow the assignment, when you follow, even though it doesn't make sense to you, if you follow the instructions and you're radically obedient with what heaven is telling you to do, it will make sense in the end. Not necessarily in the beginning, not even as you're going through it, but over time, everything will be revealed. Now, yes, I do work very hard from home. Sometimes I think I work harder at home than I do in the office. But the time that you save from not commuting, from all of the other aspects of the workday that take up so much of your time, heaven has really allowed me to drill down and hone in the 12 hours for God and 12 hours for man. And because of this, it has helped me to understand that by no longer accepting less than the best for what heaven has for me, everything begins to fall into place. You're going to get better financially. You're going to get better in your relationships. You're going to get better in so many areas of your life. And then it also helps you to identify the areas that you need to improve upon. So tonight, as you're going through this work, allow heaven to just have its way as it relates to showing you where and how you have settled for less than the best from yourself and from others. And have fun with it. Enjoy the process and truly understand that absolutely nothing is wasted in God's economy. As much as a lot, as much as we want to say, oh, I've wasted so much time. If I had known this earlier, stop it. You are getting the information at the time that you need it so that you can maximize the benefit of knowing it. And please know, trust, and believe that God is the redeemer of time. God is the creator of time and not bound by time. So rejoice in the fact that these revelations are coming and that you have the opportunity right now to make the changes that are necessary so that through this forgiveness work, you're going to be more liberated than you ever imagined. All right, everybody. So we are now at 8:31. And I try to keep these at 30 minutes or so that everyone can reflect on the assignment and do what you need to do to close your day. Now, tomorrow we will be discussing forgiving yourself for praying too small. So this is a good one for me as well, and prayerfully it will be good for you. Day 15, which is Friday. So this is where I would love to have people join me on Friday, if you will. Friday is going to be a day of reflection. And so I would love, if you are interested, you can type it in the chat, or you can is Cynthia on here? I don't even know if Cynthia's on here. If Cynthia's on here, she can put it in the chat, the email address, so that you can email us and just let us know that you want to go on, or if you're in the community, you can just let us know that you would like to join us on Friday to just share your journey of forgiveness, because I know that several of you have done this journey with me many, many times before. So I'm sure that you have a whole lot of insight. I know this personally because of what you've shared before. But if you are willing to come on and share, and remember, y'all, this is YouTube. Okay, this is YouTube. So if it's something that you don't want to share, then don't come on YouTube. We'll do that in the private group. Okay. So this this is this is YouTube. Okay. So just be mindful of that. So if there are things that you are not that you are willing to share in a public. This is a public platform, okay? If there are things that you want, now I know I'm gonna be up here all by myself telling all my business. But anyway, I would love to have you. I would love to have you. Thank you, Posh. Thank you. So email support@alwaysjournal.com. So if you can just send us an email there and let us know that you would like to join us. So if this is you and you are, and see, only if you've done like complete forgiveness work. Okay, don't be coming up here if you haven't done deep forgiveness work in the area that you want to talk about, because we ain't gonna do that on here. So yay, Leslie. So Leslie will be on Friday. Oh, I love Leslie Montgomery. That's gonna be fun. Okay, so we're gonna have fun with Leslie. We're gonna act right though. We're gonna act right. I think Christine said she would be on here. So that's exciting. So I think I have like two people so far. So if there are other people, the more the merrier. I don't think there's a huge gap or cap on what how many people we can have, but we'll figure that out. So we'll be reaching out to you this week, tomorrow, definitely by tomorrow, so that we can get all of that together. So I'm so excited. So get ready. We're going to have a group discussion on Friday. So I'm very excited about that. But tomorrow, think about your small prayers. Think about your small prayers. But tonight, raise your standards. Raise your standards and expect big things from yourself and from others. All right. I love you all. Sweet dreams. And I will see y'all tomorrow night.